How to structure your video, part 2. In this in-depth training I'm going into a lot more detail about how to come up with ideas, how to structure your script, how to deliver your script to camera, and some tips on how you can get your audience to engage. Now if you haven't watched part 1, I suggest you go and watch part 1 now and then come back to part 2. If you've already watched it, great, let's get on with the training. I'm Simon Banks. I'm a video strategist and producer, and for decades I have been supporting businesses creating video content. Now I'm on a bit of a mission to make your business into a media company. Because if you can create consistent video content, you'll get visible, you'll get leads, and you'll get new clients. So subscribe to this channel if you want lots of tips and know-how on how you can create video effective content.
Okay, let's move on to content. This will be the bulk of your video. And of course, there's lots of things you could cover. Talk about your knowledge, your expertise. Do you have an opinion on something? Do you have some ideas? You can do recommendations, you can do reviews, tutorials, solutions, advice, tips, entertainment. There's lots of things you could do for the content of your video. Really depends again on your audience, what you want them to feel, think and do. Now ideally your content, you do need to organize your thoughts. I've come across very few people who you can say please talk 5 minutes on this topic and they can ad-lib that. So ideally you can organize your thoughts generally into a script, and we'll come into a bit more about scripting in a moment. Ideally, content, it is about storytelling. Even if it's just a product review, it's still telling a story. Ideally, it has a start, which could be a problem. What was the challenge? And then you go through the solution, and then at the end of it, you come to an ending, which could be the results you can get. Ideally, in the content, you illustrate with some text, get some text on screen, some graphics, some pictures, some video, what we call B-roll, or any other examples that you can do. So generally, it might not necessarily just be you talking to camera all the time. Ideally, you might be able to bring in some other pieces of content as well. Generally, what we're trying to do here is break up the content visually, because the more we do that, the more engaging it will be. And ideally, your content, it needs to solve the viewer's original problem, challenge, or issue that they had, or thoughts maybe. Maybe you may want to do thought leadership and challenge an assumption or a myth. And obviously, you need to deliver on your promises. So, for example, I'll talk about my 7 tips for engagement. Obviously, I need to deliver the 7 tips of engagement. Okay, otherwise it'll just be confusing. At the end, you need to start to wrap up your video. We have a call to action and the ending. The call to action, what is the one action you want to take the viewer to take? Ideally, don't want too many actions, okay? Because the saying is a confused mind doesn't buy. All right. And ideally you want to start with, what is the business goal of the video? What do you want to do? Do you want to grow your following? Do you want people to start to share this video? So the more they share it, the more people will see it, for example. And again, you can do, sometimes it can be a small ask. It doesn't necessarily need a call to action, a big call to action. And sometimes your video maybe doesn't need a call to action at all. I tend to do what I call a small ask. It could be, please like this video, please share, please subscribe, or generally please comment on the video. Or it could be on YouTube, for example, you can say, please watch this next video, because on YouTube you can actually point to what they call end cards as well. So that's a small ask. A bigger ask again is to, download my free guide, sign up for my next video series, opt in to my webinar that I'm giving. It could be that's what I call a bigger ask in terms of basically just asking to do something. Ideally, to grow your business, do you want people to opt into something, because you get them on your email list, and then you can start communicating with them on a more regular basis. And of course, the bigger ask, what I call the huge ask, is buy from me. It'll be, buy my product, buy my course, you know, let me sign up for some coaching, something like that, where basically the bigger ask is when you're asking for a monetary transaction.
In the first part of the training, I did mention that attention spans really drop off at the end of a video. So you don't want to hang around at the end of it. You basically got to do a quick sign off, which might be, "Hi, I'm Simon, thanks so much for my video, catch you on the next one." Or it could be, "If you really like this video, leave a comment below or give me a like." Or if you're on YouTube, you've got what we call end cards, where you can actually go, you know, "Please watch my next video," which generally, ideally, you want people to engage with your next content. Now, it depends on which platform you're on. With YouTube, you can actually point people to another video. If you're on another platform like LinkedIn or Facebook, I would generally say, "Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one," is what I normally do when I sign off.
You can finish with what we call a logo sting. Maybe it's the next step, or it could be your website link, something like that.
So now let me walk through how I structure one of my YouTube videos.
Okay, let's go to an example. This is an example of one of my videos. 5 tips to improve and increase engagements with your videos. It's here on YouTube. If we're going to make the effort to make video content, we want to make sure it works. So probably easy just to show you in the edit. My edit here, I use Final Cut Pro. This is obviously... If we're going to make the effort to make video content, we want to make sure it works. In this video, I go through the 5 things you can do to make your videos more effective. So then I'm going into a sting. I'm Simon Banks. I have decades of experience making videos, and I make videos simple for business owners to create their own content. So then I'm going into my intro. Before I then start going into the content, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and like this video. Here are the 5 things you can... Okay, so there's a mini call to action there, which is basically to subscribe to my channel. You can do right now to make your video far more effective. Then I'm going into the bulk of the content, which is, for me, it's the 5 things. I'm illustrating with some graphics, some B-roll from a website I use called Storyblocks. Just sort of breaks up the content of me just talking to camera, some more graphics in there. Go through the 5 things. And then in this one I actually sort of do a bonus tip, which was actually to make sure you provide captions on all your videos, which is to provide captioning. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. And if you can't wait that long, watch one of these. So on this video, it was a small call to action, which was basically like and subscribe and then watch the next video, I guess. And on YouTube, at the end, when you upload to YouTube, you can, if you look at watch YouTube, we can have a look. If you go to the end of the videos, as you can see, gives you an option to subscribe to my channel and watch the next video. And on this occasion, it's actually YouTube decides what that video is going to be, but actually you can actually put a video, which video is next. And then I just have basically my logo at the end, with a website. And what I've done, if you come back over here on the left here, what I've done is, it's a fairly short YouTube video, it's just under 4 minutes. And then I've created different versions, same content, but I've just shortened it out, and I've even created an even shorter video, 60 seconds. Okay, so the idea is create one long video and create multiple videos. What I would do, I shall put a link in the comments if you want to actually watch this video in its entirety. Scripting your videos, I know a lot of us business owners, we're not natural wordsmith, for example. So again, before you sit down and record any video, you do need to make a plan on how you're going to shoot and what you're going to say. And it's really up to you on your style, whether you do what I call a fully script, where you write everything out, or are you just happy to just make some bullet points, or just make some notes, scribble some notes, and then use that as a prompt to make your videos. Remember, 1 minute is 180 words. We speak at roughly 3 seconds a word. So if you want to get some idea of the length of a video, if you try and get a video in under 2 minutes, obviously it's going to be less than 360 words. And then again, remember, think about the structure of video. Do you have a hook? Do you have an intro? Do you have a mini call to action, the content, call to action, and end? Now, not all of your videos will have all these elements in your structure of a video. I'd always recommend a hook for sure. Obviously, you got to have a hook, content, call to action, and end. Generally, what I would suggest you do. Some videos, you might just have a hook, content, and end. Okay, it's something you need to test, but ultimately, one of your videos should eventually have all these elements in it. What I do recommend doing is when you record your videos, is to have this in mind. So when I record videos, if it's for LinkedIn, I'm not necessarily going to do an intro, or I might not have a mini call to action. However, I will record those, okay, so that I can create a YouTube video. All right. So basically, it's part of the planning. It's all about multi-purposing your content. So one video doesn't fit all platforms. So for YouTube, maybe it could be longer, and therefore having an intro would help with a mini call to action as well. And maybe at the end it might be different to say watch one of my other videos, and so I'll record those as separate pieces to camera, and with the magic of editing I can create different versions of pretty much the same video. All right. I do find that if you can illustrate your videos with some examples or stories, we're all storytellers. We all like stories. It's been the beginning of mankind or humankind, where we do like some stories, and can you illustrate your stories as well? It just makes it more interesting content. And are there other things you can add in to the videos in terms of what can you produce to help tell the story? This can be in the form of other pictures or videos or graphics as well. And ultimately, you need to think about, think of the outcomes. What do you want to think, feel, or do?
So when it comes to creating any content, it really comes down to planning. And I know I emphasize this a lot, but as busy business owners, I know if we don't schedule some time to plan our content, it just doesn't get done. And if it doesn't get done, then you won't be consistent with the content you produce. And if you don't produce content, then it's hard to get visible, hard to get those leads, and it'll be more difficult to grow your business. So let's now move on to how you can deliver your script to camera, because I know this is one of the hardest things to do, is sit in front of a camera and talk.
When it comes to delivering your scripts, there's various ways you can do it. You need to have an auto cue. I generally find if you're doing much longer pieces of video, an auto cue helps, but there is a bit of an art and science to doing an auto cue. I tend not to use them, only because you can be seen reading the words, and I tend to come a lot more wooden. All right. And also, if you do auto cue, that doesn't mean you have to write all the words out. And I often find that when we write things, it's very different writing to speaking. So if you are going to write your scripts out, make sure you read them out loud. Don't read them in your head. Read them out loud, and ideally, possibly, you might want to record them onto your smartphone as well and play it back. Okay, because the way we read and speak is different. When you're recording your videos, be prepared to do 3 or 4 takes. Okay, I generally find that's how often I try and do mine in 3 or 4 takes. If I find I'm struggling with a particular section of a video where it's starting to get to 6 or 7 takes, I'll often either stop recording, look at the script, and sometimes I'll tweak it, I'll make it shorter, maybe I'll take something out, maybe I'm struggling with a particular sentence, or if I'm just struggling with the content, I will mark it and come back to it. Okay, it's no good flogging a dead horse. If you're struggling with a particular section of your video, either stop and rewrite it or come back to it later. I often, when it comes to intros particularly, so for example, for the intro of this video, I will re-record this at the end, only because now I've been talking for a while, I've warmed up now, and so I'll probably re-record my intro at the end, if that makes sense. Okay. Again, when you're delivering, if you're not using AutoCue, try and deliver at least 2 lines at a time, because if you're just delivering 1 line at a time, it means you have to do a lot of editing to put it together. So obviously we want to deliver paragraphs at a time. In an ideal world, we'd be able to talk for 5 minutes ad-lib perfectly, but we don't. I need to put some energy into your takes, okay? It is a performance. Being on camera is a performance, so remember to put some energy. Sometimes I'm sitting down, but sometimes it's handy if I can be standing up as well. Standing or walking can help your energy levels. And record more than 1 script at a time. I find this helps if you sort of batch your videos, in terms of time. Ideally, if you can shoot 3 or 4 at a time, it'll help you create consistent video content. And can you allow 1 or 2 days a month to record all your videos? So just going back to some, and this is a bonus here for you. It's what I call the 5x5x5 formula. If you're looking for some content ideas, 5 questions your target customer is asking right now, because we all get, as a business, we all get those questions. It could, and obviously one is price. I know, how much do you charge is an obvious one. It could be, how long does this take? What results can I expect? These are all questions that are very common. I'm sure you can answer them. And then you talk about the 5 challenges, problems, or issues that they are facing. Sometimes this could be answering some objections. Okay, so why people aren't buying from you, potentially. It could be, I don't have time, I'm not ready yet. And these are sort of questions that you can answer, like, if you don't have time, when can you start? And if you're delaying, not working with me now, what consequences might happen? Example. And then here's one which no one's really doing. I haven't really seen this much. Is the 5 questions they're not asking. Okay, but they should be. This will really separate your content from your competitors. So, for example, a lot of people surprisingly don't ask me. So when I've done the video, what do I do with it? Okay, they just assume that they think they know what to do with it. But I have lots of ideas in terms of when you create a video, how you should market and distribute it. And quite often people just don't ask that question, really. They just want a video from a website, but they're not really asking what kind of video I might actually need for a website, what's going to be the best for it. And okay, and just and wrapping up, I'm going to give you some tips on making people want to watch your videos. Focus on the audience and the challenges, not what you do or how you do it. Have a clear message. No more than 3 per video. It does depend on the length of your videos. If it's a shorter video, if it's under 2 minutes, I'll only say have 1 message, generally 1 main message, but don't overload your content with loads of messages, just confusing, and make the video much longer, which might not be necessary. I think less is more. I think, for social media platforms, keep the videos short to be concise, but even in a YouTube video, which you might have longer, video might have more content, again, be concise as possible. I always believe in going straight into the content, no matter what platform. Have the hook, and generally don't say, I see this a lot when people say, hi, I'm so-and-so, this is what I do, or often they'll have a logo and have the company logo and a music sting. It's like, no, forget all that. Go straight into the content, straight into the hook. Yeah, so again, don't use logos to start with. You can afterwards. So quite often I might have a hook, an intro, and then my logo. Ideally, then you need to edit your videos. This is where it can really make your videos shine. You can make them shorter, you can make them more engaging by adding more content. You can tweak them. And there'll be another lesson on how you could do this with editing. We'll give an editing overview. And ideally, if you can't do it yourself, outsource it. But to use some graphics, some text or photos, or get what we call B-roll. There's plenty of sites now that you can download video B-roll, which you can illustrate your points, your videos with. And when you're closing the video, there's a quick end and a reminder of the call to action. And done is better than perfect. So, some tasks for you now that you've watched this video. I want you to write down, who is your audience? Who do you want to reach? Where do you think they watch the videos? Think about using the 5x5x5 formula for some content ideas. Create a little list of video topics that you want to shoot. It's all part of planning, basically. Contribute to the Facebook. There is a Facebook group, Get Whisper with Video. Put your thoughts in there. Share your videos as well. Because practice makes perfect.
So practice does make perfect. So thanks for watching my training. I hope you found it useful. If so, please leave a comment below. Even better, subscribe to my channel where I'll be sharing regularly how-to and top tips on how to create effective video content.